Welcome, everyone. We are excited to talk today with Tom Ivascanin, who's a board member of V4CR and a huge supporter, and someone who has an incredible background in pain management and helping people find relief. I'm also here today with Forrest Healy. He's the executive director for Veterans of Child Rescue. So we're going to have an awesome discussion today. And Tom, I want to thank you for being here and for sharing your gifts with the world and helping so many people find relief and vitality. We appreciate you.
My pleasure.
Well, we are going to talk about specifically some of the technology that Tom is behind and the technology that he's making available to us and to the Veterans for Child Rescue supporters. It's called the PainPod. So, Tom, my understanding is that this is an innovative approach that uses the TENS and EMS technology. Can you tell us a little bit, first of all, about what the PainPod company is and what you guys stand for?
Okay, basically, PainPod is really a medical device that helps people with pain and blood circulation and all that wonderful stuff. But just to go back a little bit, before we designed the PainPod, we started off with a TENS device, which everyone in the US knows about. In Australia, it wasn't so well known. And we've seen how good it was helping a lot of people there, but it wasn't really helping everybody. And that's when we kind of looked at why is this device helping certain amount of people, but not all of them? And took it to the scientists at the university in Australia, and they played with it for about a month and come back with some results and told us you need to do this, this, that, and whatever. And if you do this, you will have a device that's going to help 90 odd percent of the people. And so basically, we started with a TENS and combined it with an EMS. And I think a lot of people want to know the difference. You know, what is the difference of a TENS and an EMS? And that's basically what it is. It's that combination that we've put together. Slight couple changes, and it just made it into an amazing, amazing device. And I'll go into it a little deeper later on.
Oh, my bad. I was muted. I was saying
Oh, okay.
it is amazing. And I want to share that I'm actually really grateful. I don't have pain. I don't have chronic issues. Like, I'm really a healthy person, which I'm super grateful for. But last week I went skiing for the first time in 10 years, and it was very fun. But I woke up with a very stiff neck and all kinds of tension that I don't normally have. So normally I have my whole pain management, stretching, and routine. But this time I just wanted to see the pure results of the PainPod. So I used it on my neck for the first time ever, and I actually filmed it. And I promise you, within about 3 minutes, it went from super tense and just angry tissue to mobility, and it didn't hurt when I moved it and stretched and all these different things. So I was really impressed, and I've used it on. I've lent it to a few friends and used it on a few friends since, and they've been really impressed. And Forrest, I know you're a big fan of it as well. I think he said he was using it when we first started this live. Is that right?
That is correct. I've got my lower back and on my feet. And what's really interesting about this device, I've had this thing for a good year and a half, and I use it right now on a daily basis. I use it a lot. And there's several things that I'm really amazed about the product. The level of quality of the product is, number one, the battery capacity. Okay. This thing, I use it for days upon days. And you've got a battery indicator. It's got like 4 bars, and it very rarely moves. I sometimes get a little nervous and I'll plug it in. I've never ran the battery out on it. And what's interesting is like right now I have 2 sets of leads. And what I like about this is you could put in 2 sets of leads. So I have 1 set on my lower back and 1 set on my feet. And you can individually select which options that you want to use. And one for your feet and then 1 for your back. Both which frequency you're going to use, as well as you can select the intensity, and you could set the timer for those. So it's a pretty, one thing that when Tom, he shared this with me, he'd been talking about it, and I said, hey, I need to get one of those. And he talked about how idiot proof it is. And so I'm a technical person, but oftentimes when you see devices like this, they're not intuitive. Okay. So I'm amazed on how intuitive it is to utilize. And I'm very appreciative of it. So I suffer from lower back pain. I've got titanium in my neck. I mean, unlike you, Kim, I was a college athlete. I abused my body. I've learned that two objects of matter cannot occupy the same space at the same time. Therefore, I suffer with various ailments that are pain. It's pain management, and so, like I said, every morning I get up. Part of my routine when I go sit down, I actually sit on a yoga ball in my office. I haven't sat on a chair in probably 10 years, and so this device has done more for me other than the yoga ball. Those are the two things that have really helped me the most. Okay. But I think it's really important people to know that the quality of this pocket, it's easy to use. It's well built. It functions really well. The battery capacity is incredible. So those are some attributes. As a user, I find it's amazing because oftentimes you'll get, for example, you'll get one of these battery chargers for your phone, these carry-alongs, or you get a flashlight or various doodads that we have. And I have not seen anything that over the long term perform as well as this thing has with the amount of usage that I utilize.
That's incredible. So Tom, I want to hear more about the PainPod, but for people listening, Tom gave us an incredible exclusive offer for V4CR supporters, where if you use the discount code V4CR, you get $200 off your purchase. He's also going to donate a percentage of your purchase to our mission. So the link is here on painpodusa.com and use the code V4CR. Huge discount. This is for the first 200 people who buy, so tell your friends, y'all. So Tom, tell us more about, I know you guys do a lot to give and to help different people. So tell us about some of the giving back that you guys do.
Sure. Just before I go there, just to kind of piggyback from Forrest, when we designed the device, we designed it with three kind of people in mind. People like me who don't read instructions, older people who, want it simple, and athletes, believe it or not. They just want to turn it on, set the mode and intensity. And you know what? We can train them all within 1 minute. And so that's why we kept it so simple. And the battery, we got the best battery you can get, and it runs up to about 18 to 24 hours between charges, and it only takes 15 minutes to charge. That's why you can, get hours and hours out of it. But anyway, back to your question. Sorry, Kim, what was that question again?
No worries. And I want to highlight one more thing you said, because I used it with a doctor friend of mine, Kathleen Strauss, and she's used a lot of different TENS units before with her practice and with patients. She said it's the most easy to use device she's ever seen, and it's very intuitive. So to Forrest's point, it's very plug and play. I had the same experience, and I'm one of those people who don't read instructions. So I just plugged it in, fully charged. So it was so easy. But yes, I love the ease very much. So I wanted to talk about some of the impactful stories and some of the philanthropy and giving back that you guys do. We know you're a huge supporter of Veterans for Child Rescue and the fight against human trafficking, but tell us about some of the social giving and giving back that you guys do.
Sure. So in the beginning, obviously the company took off like a rocket, and I've heard of a lady called Joyce Meyer, and she was doing this kind of ministry in India. And what I heard is that they were selling kids, or we can buy kids, or we can get kids out of human trafficking for $25 a kid. And they were in cages. And I was so angry when I heard that. So I got a hold of them in Australia, and long story short, and this is not about bragging about us, but basically I wanted to rescue as many kids out of those cages as I could. And we were blessed. So the more we got, the more we gave. And at the end, I mean, Hand of Hope, we must have rescued 10,000 kids, if not more, with all the funding. Yeah. And it was so amazing. It was such a good thing where she actually invited me to St. Louis, and I got to meet her and see the whole ministry, see how they help so many people around the world. And this thing, human trafficking, is obviously, as you guys know, as we all know, it's not just, here, it's all over, and it's huge in some of these other countries. So that was one of the things. And then we started off with Gold Coast Kids, where obviously, they're the kids grow up with one family, mom or dad, and we try to, help them as well. And since I've moved here to the States, we kind of shifted, and now we're supporting we're supporting the missionaries because I live here in Kona, and there's one of the largest universities of the nations here, which train missionaries and send them all over the world, third world countries. And so a lot of these kids, adults, go to these countries, but they just don't have the funding, and we make it possible for them. But not only that, there's a thing called mercy ships. You may have heard of them, and they go to New Guinea and all that. They do eye surgery, dentistry. We give them devices to give out to all the people there for their pain. So that's excuse me, some of the things. And also we supported one of the high schools in China. We picked the poorest region in China, which is near the, I believe, Thailand, one of those borders in the middle of like nowhere, and went to one of the schools, and the kids couldn't even eat. And a lot of the parents kept them from school because they were growing tobacco, and so that there was no education. So me and my partner decided to basically adopt that school. And a few years later, we had some of the students end up going to university and getting letters from them, which is just a joy. I mean, it's better to give, right? So that's basically what we're doing. So today it's missionaries and people who need help, and yeah.
I love it. We talked as well about your passion for helping service members, and specifically with these products that are really effective for all kinds of pain and that aren't
Mhm.
addictive, that are all natural, that don't require
Mhm.
opioids or pharmaceuticals and other things that can also have really negative symptoms and side effects. So I know
Mhm.
Craig Sawyer's been using the PainPod for a long time, and he raves about it. He's
Yes.
made a video about it recently. There's Forrest with it. But I agree. I've worked with a lot of service members, and this is something that not only is it so plug and play, like easy to use, you could just put it on and be driving or doing something productive or even just watching TV. But I really believe it's something that can help a lot of people, at least if not only to reduce their pain, but really feel much better. And I think that that's the goal in a lot of what we're doing. So I know we're going to have a combined effort, a collaborative effort to reach a lot more service members and help a lot more people who really need and deserve that kind of vitality.
Correct. And you know what, talking about that, we started off at Schofield's military base here in Honolulu and spread to the mainland and started working these bases. They actually asked us to go to Afghanistan, and set up there. And I remember talking to some of the military people coming back from there, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, we're planning on going out there, so we're going to help you guys." And they're like, "You have no business going there." I'm like, "Really? But we're inside a compound." He says, "Mate, don't go." So anyway, we ended up working with the base in Afghanistan, where we were sending the devices to them. But there's so many stories. One story just popped in my head when we were in El Paso. I think that's how you say it, correct? El Paso, Texas. Yes.
Yep,
Anyway,
yep.
and there was this older gentleman, probably about 80 years of age. I think he must have been in World War One. I mean, no, just kidding. But he could just barely walk, and he's like, "Young fella, what do you got there?" I'm like, "Mate, we've got a medical device here. It's going to help you get rid of that cane." He says, "Mate, I've tried everything. Nothing works." He says, "Look how old I am. Come on, everything under the sun I've tried." So I tried to sit him down. He wouldn't have a bar of it. I'm not going to waste my time. Anyway, we started talking about different things, and finally he opened up. I'm like, "Just sit down, since we're talking. Sit down. I want to put these things on you." And I put it on him, and probably about half hour we just chatted about different things. He loves Australians and Vietnam and all that good stuff, all the storytelling. And so I thought, because he felt good, I thought he's going to buy it. And he gets up, he says, "Lad, that was good. Yeah, I think I noticed something, but no thank you." So he walked off. I'm like, "Okay, no worries." The next day he walked in, no cane, no nothing. He says, "By the time I walked to the car, the pain just kept going away and away and away." And he's like, "I'm gonna buy one, young fella." And I'm like, "Okay, no worries." And that gentleman brought in so many people at that military base. And he was actually, honestly, not running, but you know what I mean, going around our stands full of beans, full of energy, and it gives you great joy just to see stuff like that. And that's just one of hundreds of stories I can tell you about the military personnel, young fellas in their 25, 26, bad knees, canes, because of jumping out of airplanes with the backpacks on them and all that. 20 minutes later, they put the cane away. I mean, again, I can go on and on and on, but yeah.
I've seen it for myself, not only with my own neck healing, but also different friends and family recently. I was told also by a doctor friend of mine that it's really effective for different types of muscle spasms and cramps. So even
Correct.
things like menstrual pain, like pelvic floor pain. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I know you're not a doctor, and none of us are doctors, and we're not giving medical advice, but in general, it's the voltage on this device is about 9 volts. Is that right? So it's a non-lethal voltage, meaning you can't
Correct.
yourself.
You cannot. Yeah.
You can apply these patches pretty much anywhere.
Correct. Exactly. Except, yeah, throat, temples, and your heart and stuff like that. But I mean, you really don't need them on there anyway.
Yeah, like
so,
I
yeah.
wouldn't put it on my armpit, but in general, you can put it in quite a few areas, and it's
Yeah.
help with, right?
Just YouTube it, and you'll see what they do.
Oh no, yeah, guys, don't.
Yes, no.
So later on tonight, I'm going to be sticking it on my armpits to see what happens.
Yeah. I find you have to kind of really make these types of statements very clear. But in general, it's a very safe product, so it's not something that you guys do have a list of contraindications on your website. So if someone obviously has like a heart issue or a pacemaker, there's certain things that you may need special care. But in general, they're very safe devices. And again, I just can't even emphasize how easy it is to use. And straight out of the box, it works right away. You can feel it right away. And I know people love that measurable result. So I've tried the PainPod 3. I know you guys have a PainPod 4. You have some other PainPod devices I'm not super familiar with. And you also have these gloves and socks.
Correct.
Yes. The whole thing has that technology for your hand, for example?
It actually has a silver lining, believe it or not. It's got little silver threads through the glove and the socks. And when you put them on, you can just feel your whole foot is just being grabbed, just like the pads. When you put the pads on, it feels the same way. And it's a carpal tunnel, poor circulation, arthritis, you name it. And a lot of people who work, on their feet all the time, they come home, they really don't have much feeling and not much circulation. You put the socks on, lay in bed, set it for 30 minutes to an hour, and it's amazing. I mean, I hear stories about people who just sleep like babies because it does, knock them out. It gives them that feel-good drug as well, where they're just so relaxed.
Oh, for sure.
I think that's important to understand, folks, because those our military folks, especially, and our athletes, we have pain management is difficult. And that's one of the things that I have struggled with. And I noticed that I sleep better. I still wake up and my lower back hurts, but my neck doesn't hurt as much. Okay. And I used to struggle with my neck hurting almost to the point I was worried about having to have a second surgery on my neck. So for me, the pain management and allowing you to sleep, because that's when your body regenerates and when it heals. One thing I would like to point out is first-time users, when you plug this thing in and you attach it to your body and you start cranking up the intensity, give it a moment. There's a couple of modes on here, and it's like, okay, that's not so bad. And then it's like it goes in reverse. It's like this cyclical thing, and it goes in reverse. And all of a sudden you're getting, and it's like, oh, wait. And I'm trying to hit that down button because it can have a lot of kick. Now my body has gotten used to it. I can turn this thing up pretty high because I've been using it so long. But I will tell you, first time users, just take it slow, and it's a very pleasant feeling. It is not an uncomfortable feeling. It's pleasant to me. It's almost I don't know. It just kind of relaxes me because it's very rhythmic.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. And what it does, I mean, this is simplified for people who haven't used it to know what. We're not talking about electrical shocks. It's not like being shocked at all. It's like your muscles are contracting and then relaxing. So it is like you'll involuntarily contract. Like if it's on your shoulder, you may involuntarily contract and then relax. And there's a series of pulsations, but it's not like an electrical shock. There's no pain. So even if you put the intensity up a little bit too high, it's like a very strong contraction, but it's manual, it's a user guided device. So it's very, very easy to use.
Just the kind of, that's the secret sauce basically in the PainPod. By combining EMS, and that's what you feel, the tens goes, and then all of a sudden the EMS kicks in. It's kind of like an automatic car. You put it in drive and it'll just change different gears. And this is where the successes come. I can tell you two things behind the PainPod success. The third one's a secret, so we can't share it with anyone. But basically, this technology has been around forever. And back in the 80s, they were using it in all the hospitals to treat pain. But as we all know, there's a company out there that makes more money out of selling drugs. And so slowly it all faded out. So they are safe. People have been using them forever. And unfortunately, not too many people were, trying to make them better because they just kept using the same frequency. And like I said earlier, by just adding EMS into the tens, which you guys are talking about, you can feel the different wavelengths and all that. That's the thing, what makes a PainPod work every time you put it on. Now, I've heard stories after stories. Just a couple of weeks ago, we did an event here in Kona, and 8 out of 10 people, I got one, I got a tens. Where is it? Oh, I don't know, somewhere at home. Why don't you know? But you still have pain. I know it stopped working. Well, the reason it stopped working is because their brain picked up the signal. And after about 3 months, the brain says, no. It doesn't get tricked, so it doesn't close the pain gate. So when you put it on, it doesn't close the pain gate, so the pain is still there. And they think, well, this thing stopped working, let's put it away. By putting the EMS, which you guys are just talking about, it changes automatically, and the brain goes, well, hang on, what is this? And so it still tricks it, and that is what keeps this. We've had the PainPod out for 10 years, and people have, used them for 10 years, chronic sufferers, obviously, and it works every single time. So the whole idea is to trick the brain so it doesn't pick up those signals.
That's incredible. And I know there's modes I haven't even used it yet. I don't know how many you have, like 20 different modes of different types of pulsations. So I can
we
see
have 12.
Yeah,
there's 12.
12.
Yeah.
That one. That's incredible. So you guys have these gloves, and then you have the socks. I was using it on one of my friends who's a service member who has a lot of chronic pain and back pain. And he was saying, man, I need a whole suit made out of this. Just products.
Yes.
Would it be possible, hypothetically, to make like a whole long sleeve made in this? I'm just putting it out there for you to consider. I don't know if that's possible, but tell us about some of the other, I guess, complementary products. So for people to understand, if you want to show them for us, it's this little handheld device, and there's two different wires that attach to these little pads that have a sticky pad that wherever on your body, you activate the mode and the intensity that you want, and it does its thing. There you go.
Okay. Yep. So the little one you're talking about, it's called a MI, and it's microcurrent, and it works totally different. So microcurrent. So if you fall down, have an injury, all your cells inside are starting to die off. And if you do, get it taken care of by a doctor or whatever, and all that, it will not turn into chronic pain. But if you do nothing about it, eventually all the cells in there will die, and next thing you'll be in pain for the rest of your life. So that's how chronic pain sets in. Microcurrent's designed to restore and rejuvenate. How do you say the word? Rejuvenate. I can't say it. Rejuvenate the please, yes. My brain's going too quick. I can't keep up with the mouth. Anyway, and so that's what it does. It stops it from, or it helps it from not going into chronic pain. And so when we first designed the MI, well, we didn't design it. I mean, this technology, again, has been around forever. So when we first started looking into it, I tried a few of them, and I thought, well, shoot, I can't feel nothing at all. I mean, how do I know it's working? So I took it back to where I bought it from. I said, it's not working. They said, it is working. I said, no, it's not. So I argued with them. They gave me another one, the same thing, because you can't feel a thing. So when we designed ours, we decided to put tens in there, which turned out to be a great idea. Mine was only because I wanted to know. I needed to feel something to know it's working. But when we asked the engineers and everyone, can we put this in? They said, oh, that's a great idea because it'll block the pain. The TENS will kick in for 15 minutes, block the pain, and then the microcurrent will be doing its bit. So it kind of killed two birds with one stone. And so that's what the little fella is. And you put it on and leave that on all day. That battery, Forrest, will last 300 hours on microcurrent.
Dang.
Yes. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Wow.
with, just in case anyone was wondering, I definitely travel with it, carried it on the plane and everything, so it's good to go. There's really nowhere you can't get. You can throw it in your purse, your gym bag, whatever. But I love the versatility of it, just kind of sitting next to your office. For those who don't know me, like, I'm really big on all the different massage tools and pain management devices and tricks and methods and things, and I have like a lot of them, like a small arsenal. Okay, so compared to other things, not only do you feel it working right away, you feel the difference in the pain, a measurable result, but you feel the actual, like, what it's doing to your body. But it's also, I just can't even emphasize enough how easy it is, because you don't need to hold something there or do something to fasten it on. You could literally walk around your house and do dishes or whatever. So for busy moms, for athletes, for no matter what your age or profession or activity level, I think this is really perfect for a lot of people.
Exactly. And we have, as you were talking about before, we have other accessories like the back belt. A lot of the guys use it on their tummy as well because they want a six-pack. I mean, go to the gym. But what were you going to say?
Later, so it contracts and relax your muscles. Okay, that makes sense.
Bruce Lee was doing this while he was having breakfast. He would put like the belt on his tummy for 30 minutes to an hour, and I'm trying to just remember. I think he said 4,000 crunches in an hour. That's what it was like while he's eating breakfast. I mean, I'm not saying don't go to the gym, but he was kind of getting the extra mileage in while he was sitting down and eating. And I mean, you can Google that and you'll find that's what he's been doing. But the belt is just been so good because you don't have to buy the pads, because obviously the pads will last about 50 to 100 applications, and then you got to buy some new ones. With the belt, all you got to do is spray a little bit of water on it. It'll keep going. And this is why it's so good for third world countries for us. Everyone's got a phone, believe it or not, in these countries. They can charge the PainPod, but they don't have to have a supply of pads. They have a belt that just lasts for years and years and years. So that's that one. And the foot pad. There's so many other accessories. It's all on the website.
I have a little tip for the belt. Now, I don't use water. I use aloe.
Okay, yep. No, that's good.
So
I
just put a little bit of aloe on my back or wherever I'm going to have that belt, and it works really good.
Yeah. I told all the guys, I said, just a little bit of lotion. They looked at me. We don't use lotion. I'm like, okay, water then.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Well, we're really excited to have more people try this. Tom sent some PainPod devices to our team at Veterans for Child Rescue. Craig Sawyer's been using it for a long time. Forrest Seeley's been using it for a long time. I had my first opportunity to try it. We're also going to have some of our operators and the Viper team and different tactical guys use it. And again, it's an amazing thing to not only help someone get out of pain, but also perform better. Whatever you're doing in the world, whatever positively good things that we hope you're doing, not only can you do them better, but also with more vitality when you're not dealing with pain and discomfort. So that's an incredible gift to give.
Yeah.
Hey, Kim, I need to validate something real quick. On the URL, you've got PainPod USA. Is it PainPod or PainPod? I think you might have a typo.
PainPod USA. I will fix that now.
Oh, there you go. No worries. But just, you know what? I don't know if there's any people like me out there. You know, if someone tells me this will help you, it'll get rid of your pain, I'm like, it'll probably help everyone else, but not me. I don't know. Sometimes I think like that, okay? And I know there's other people out there. And this is the reason I bring this up is because, look, we can talk about all the testimonies, but the best testimony is you trying it out yourself. And I realize, you know, it's not that easy to get everyone, okay, I'll buy one, take it home and whatever, and try it out. And so what we did, we decided to do a 90-day money-back guarantee. Because, look, if it doesn't work in 90 days, we know it's not going to work on you. There's that 3% of people who just will not respond. But here's the secret. I don't recall anyone returning them back at all. So, so over time, and some of the pain, it could take a month before, if you've been in chronic pain for 10, 15, 20 years, it could take, a long time. So look, the best thing is you're the best testimony. Try it. And if it doesn't work, return it before the 90 days and you get your money back. No questions asked. You don't lose any single thing. And I'll just piggyback on this story. I had a call from South Africa. A gentleman bought it in Australia. He lives in New Zealand, and his dad was a South African cricket player. And he calls me, says, "Mate, old guy, I've been using this thing on my bung knees, bad knees, I guess, and he said I could hardly walk or whatever. But you know what? Now I haven't even used it for about 14 days and there's no pain. What happened?" I says, "Are you complaining?" You know, he says, "No, no, no. Does that normally happen?" I says, "Mate, just rejoice." And for some people, the point of the story, for some people, the pain will not come back for weeks, maybe months. Sciatica. I've had people who have to use it almost daily. Then I've had people use it once a month when that sciatica kicks in. And I'm one of those. My sciatica comes in every 3 or 4 months, and I'll stick it in the best place, and all of a sudden, about an hour later, that thing's gone, and I just use it when it comes on. But it does. Everyone's different. But he loved it, obviously. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I also would like to point out, Tom, that you're there in Kona, which is lovely Hawaii, which is that beautiful view behind you. And there in Kona, every year they have this little bitty race that a few people come from around the world called Ironman. And you have been providing this product. Now, these are the highest trained athletes that you could
In the
imagine
world.
in the world. They are the highest. If nobody knows what an Ironman is, it's 26-mile run. How far of a bike, like 50-kilometer bike ride or something, and then like a 5-mile swim. It's way further than I've ever gone in a day, but
Let
it's
me get.
crazy.
Yeah, I think. Look, I could be a little wrong. I know they swim by here and they come up to here. Oh, I'm facing this way, so you can't see that way.
Yeah.
So it's 2.6 miles, I believe it is, swim. Then they'll do their bike 112 miles. Now I'll just give you a little bit of background. The heat of that road in lava, black lava everywhere. I don't know how they do it. Even with air conditioning in the car, I'm like, whoa, come on. Anyway, 112 miles, and they get off the bikes here at the pier, and they run for I think 42 miles or 40 miles or something like that. Last year, not last year, the year before, when the guys were here, he did it under 8 hours. He was a guy from Sweden, and I was there at the end. I volunteer as well, to catch them when they come at the finish line. I got the best position as they all come across the finish line. "Hey mate, how you doing?" They have no clue who they're talking to because they're just like out there. But yeah, 5 days before the race, all the doctors from all over the world come and volunteer to do the race, because it's one of the biggest races in the world. And so we have a conference, and that's what this T-shirt's all about. So we're there all the time. We've been there the last 6 years, I believe. And so we get to see all the doctors, the Ironman people who have won this 5 times in a row and stuff like that. They teach on it, and they all love the PainPod. I could drop some names, or I'm not sure if I could or should or whatever, but you guys would, even the guys who don't follow Ironman would have heard of these people's, names. And so we're there with the doctors, and we have a tent near the finish line, and we treat them on a Sunday as well. And those poor buggers can't even walk, and we'll put them on there. And honestly, they actually still wobble, but walk a lot better. Where before they're like, uh, uh. And the other thing is they actually use them when they fly here, because a lot of them come from Europe and all over the world, and they can't exercise in the plane, and you know what an airplane does to us. So these guys use it to circulate the blood. So that would use the foot pads on there for most of the trip. So while you're sitting down, your heart is pumping a lot harder. And a doctor in Australia told me if you're sitting down, you're pumping about 7 liters. Is it 7 liters per minute through your heart? When you have the PainPod on, it goes up to 12 liters. So there's a lot more blood going through. And so these guys, when they get here, they're not quite as jet lagged, just the body clock's out. So they utilize it. And can I share one quick story?
Yes.
Yes, of
You
course.
muted. Okay. This last race, last October, a friend of mine called me. She says, you know what? A friend of mine just flew in from South Africa, and she's 60 years of age. She runs in the older age group, and she did an L3 and L4 or whatever in a groin. And she's like, can you go out there and see if the PainPod could do anything? I said, well, no harm, next door. So just went to the complex next door, seen her. The poor thing couldn't even walk. But what hurt more is that she spent all this money to get here, right? And I'm like, you know what, Michelle, I don't know. I mean, I'd love to say yes, but I don't know. Let's see what happens. So I left it with her. I got busy doing stuff, and like I said, the medical thing and whatever. Then I had to fly out to the mainland, and all of a sudden she texts. Guess what happened? Now remember, she couldn't even get in the race. All the money she spent, it was done. She was finished.
All the
Guess what
training.
happened? She won. She won
That
her
is
age group.
nuts.
That is nuts. She's. I can give you all that information later on. I mean, when she went back to South Africa, she was just a star. And like she said, my hair's standing. She says, Tom, you know what? I don't know how that thing, what it did. I said, I don't know either, but hey, high five. And it did. It really got her back in those 5 days. And you can see all that on LinkedIn, Facebook, the whole lot. And I was even surprised, you know. So, yeah. So Ironman people definitely love him.
That's incredible.
Wow.
I love it. I can't wait to see and hear the different stories of how it's going to help people. But we're excited
Same
to,
here. Yeah.
and of course, with gratitude to celebrate what you guys are doing to not only support the mission and to help people manage their pain and feel better and just live a better quality of life. There's really no price on that. So I just want to thank you for what you're doing. And for everyone watching us live today, we're running a sweepstakes, and it's actually the last day. So it's your last chance to get in on winning or entering to win a PainPod 3. So if you go to v4cr.org, I'll put the link in the comments. You can enter to win a PainPod for as little as $10 is the lowest entry. 100% of those proceeds support our mission. Thanks to Tom, who donated this to Veterans for Child Rescue. So Tom and your whole team, thank you guys so much for your support, for everything you're doing.
I'd like to point out that the money that Tom is donating to Veterans for Child Rescue, we're an organization, we're a nonprofit organization. We fight against the human trafficking of children. We run counter trafficking operations in the United States, and that's what we do. And that's why Tom supports us. He talked earlier about saving kids. Kim is on our team, and she is a fearless warrior. We have other team members that help us do this. We have veterans. We have the Tier 1 Spec Ops guys, and they love this country. They love the kids. They love the children. And we all believe that our kids need to be hands off the kids. They should be protected. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's important that you understand what your money is going to when buying through this sweepstakes and when buying from Tom directly. He's donating money to us.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. We can't thank you enough for your support. I definitely encourage everyone to enter to win the sweepstakes because you could be the lucky winner, and that would be an incredible thing. Even if you don't enter the sweepstakes, for the first 200 people who purchase a PainPod 3 or a PainPod 4 on painpodusa.com, you can use the discount code V4CR and get $200 off your purchase. So spread the word. Tell people you love who you know should get out of pain. Tell them to take advantage of the discount because it's only for the first 200 people who join us. So before we end this, Tom, do you have any parting words or anything else you'd like to add to this?
I don't know. It just popped into my head when you were sharing that. I mean, what other products have 46% referral rate? You know what I mean? So it must work. And I just got that from Australia yesterday, and I'm like, wow, I knew it was around about 40, but 46%. So in other words, nearly half the people who purchase them tell someone and their family members buy it. So yeah,
Sure.
I mean, I'm so happy and so glad, and this is what we can give out more. We really can. You know,
Absolutely.
we
Absolutely. I've
can
already
support.
been telling my friends and
Yeah,
family.
hmm
We do a
that's
lot more
about
than
it. Yeah.
I
Sorry.
like the fact that we're not contributing to the medical industrial complex.
through that.
We're fighting with them. Yeah.
Maybe stealing their customers, but we're getting people out of pain. So that's the real goal. Yep.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes.
Well, we're in this mission with you. So, Tom, thank you again for everything you do and for your team. We know it takes a lot of work, but we appreciate what you do and all your contributions. And guys, please do check out PainPodUSA.com. Make sure to use the code V4CR to get $200 off if you're one of the first 200 people. So don't sleep on this. Thanks
Yes.
again, guys. We will talk to y'all next time. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks
Thank
again.
you.